All right, thanks, Army. The quarterfinal action coming up straight ahead. First, they've got to get Chandler Lloyd's overtime machine out of here. He tore up the transmission. He's out of the competition for the night. Right now, let's move on to our question of the week. This week about safety features on these monster trucks. And our question of the week about the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge Series comes to us from Wayne Kohler, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And Wayne wants to know what keeps driveline parts from flying off the truck when it's driven so hard by the engine. Well, Wayne, TNT Motorsports is very concerned about safety. That's why all transmissions must be covered by a safety blanket. In addition, each drive shaft must be surrounded by 2 loops. U-joints must be shielded by steel or aluminum, and all trucks require a full floorboard to keep pieces from flying into the driver's compartment. And if you have a question of the week about the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge, you can send it to us at TNT Motorsports, 5515 Poplar Park Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky, 40228. And if we use your question on a future ESPN television broadcast, we'll send you free a TNT Motorsports hat.
Like you say, Richard, safety always on the mind of TNT officials.
And we're ready now, Army, to move into our quarter-final round of competition. Coming out first is the defending Renegades TNT National Champion, Rowdy Rod Litzow, Chevrolet against another pretty fair Chevrolet. This is Bob Breen and Wild Hair. Bob out of Missouri, Rod is out of Minnesota.
Bob Breen with the Wild Hair looks to be having a little bit of problems, a little bit of blue smoke you can notice coming out of the back of the engine. That is not a good sign. Racers, they call it death smoke. He draws a bad one to be having this problem, that being your current national champion. Chevrolet's a pair. You picked the winner, but it's looking awfully good for USA 1, Richard.
Army Wild Hair runs a 454 Chevrolet engine. The USA 1 has a 572. Does that much difference make for a difference in the race, you think?
Well, the cubic inches is important, but not important. Breen's engine's located to the rear, Litzow's to the front. Litzow's supercharged, Breen's not, but Litzow goes to the next round.
Rod Litzow flies up and over to win here in this quarterfinal round of action on this very small track. He got a lot of air beneath him and the truck for the win, and he's going to move on to the semifinals.
Well, the word around pit area is that Litzow and crew are having some heating problems this evening. It didn't look that way on the run. The engine looked like it's making a lot of horsepower. Or are you having any kind of problems with this truck?
Well, we were for a while there. It was just a minor problem. All it was a fuse what did is shut my fans off, causing me to overheat in those 2 rounds. And when we're trying to do things really fast in between rounds, it's real hard. The motor was running a little rich on us. I think I got everything solved now, and just now it's starting for racing.
How hot did the engine get?
We ran it up to about 300, which is pushing it really hot.
We'll let you get back to the pit area, see you in the semis.
Thank you.
We're going to be back with more quarterfinal round action in just a moment, plus an up-close look at Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger. Powertrax will be right back. Tallahassee, Florida already. We have named one of our semifinalists. That's USA 1. We're about to get another one. It'll either be the Flying Texan, the kid from Killeen, Texas, Steve Dane. Awesome Kong, yes, that is a skinny Chevrolet, and he is going to be taking on the newest kid on the block Army. That is David Morris, the equalizer out of the great state of Tennessee.
You know, this kid out of the volunteer state driving the equalizer impresses me a whole bunch. He's not afraid of anybody. He's got a good truck under him, a lot of technology in this truck that he's driving, the equalizer. Look at Dane. He's pumped. He believes he's going to the next round. I guarantee you this kid out of Tennessee is going to give him all he wants. He's going to make Dane earn a win if he takes it. However, equalizer could pull off an upset, Richard.
This is one of the few times on the circuit I've seen Steve Dane so serious, though.
Yeah, I believe he's actually having problems. I think the transmission's hurting him. He knows this kid's coming after him. It's just like an old-time gunfight. The young kid is coming after the leader. It's going to happen right now.
Boy, it's tough when you're 28 years old like Steve Dane and he's considered an old gunfighter. Here they go, and look out!
Oh.
We have got a dead heat. I do not... Army, could you tell trackside?
From our viewpoint, right at the end of the track, I have no idea who took that win.
All right, there you see our TNT officials. They are looking at the videotape replay of this race. And, guys, if you could back it up, let us see the finish here. Right there. That looks like Awesome Kong, Army.
Just by a little. I tell you, that's one of the best races we've had on the tour this year, Richard.
Officially, the winner, Steve, the Flying Texan Dane, and Awesome Kong. And, whoa, what a race.
Well, Steve Dane, right now, you're on top of this sport, but this kid out of Tennessee is coming after you.
Well, he did the right thing. He's got a real lightweight machine, weighs well under 10,000 pounds. I'm well over that. He doesn't need to develop the horsepower, and he seems to stay pretty close to the ground. I don't know. I haven't been watching him too close. And by having a poor qualifying, I got the crummy lane, and I thought it wasn't that bad, but it's considerably worse after taking a few laps on it.
Well, I tell you what, you are to be congratulated, young man. Like we said earlier, you're coming along quick in this sport. I believe we got a win in the future real quick for you. Do you feel that confident in the truck? It looks great.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I'm hurting for horsepower right now, but I do have another motor that I'm going to put in, and just a matter of time of getting it in. And I think with a little bit more horsepower, I can come off the line a lot faster and do better in the whole race.
Well, Richard, I got back to another TNT. Tennessee going after Texas. Texas took the win tonight. Before the year's over, let's get out of the volunteer state. I believe he's going to be there.
Well, I totally agree with you, Army. I think David Morris is going to be one superstar eventually on this Renegades TNT circuit. You know, a guy that is already considered a superstar is Dennis Anderson in Gravedigger, but Army this year, he has had a lot of bad luck.
Yeah, 89 has not been his year. He's made a lot of changes. They didn't go the right way for him. Anderson is still alive and well. He's coming back.
Well, earlier today, Army spent time with Dennis Anderson in Gravedigger.
When we started the 1989 Renegade Tour, everybody was asked, what's going to be the truck to beat? Everybody, no exceptions, everybody said the Gravedigger of Dennis Anderson's. But Dennis, it hadn't been that way this year. This is the fourth stop on the tour, and you seem to be having all kind of problems. Can you, first of all, tell us a little bit about the new truck? We're going to get into the problems a little bit later. The new truck.
All right, well, the new truck is a 1950 Chevrolet panel truck, which the old truck was a Ford body. It was a 50 model Ford body, and we switched over. You know, we just built a whole new truck frame. I've stretched the wheelbase on it a little bit. We tried to lighten it up some and make it low profile. And as far as the frame and drivetrain, everything's hanging in there, except for the transmission, in which we've had a problem with that, but we're working that out with TCI right now, and so I think we're going to fall all right as far as the transmission goes. And I think our next problem is the motor. You know, we really want to get a lot of power. We wanted to go ahead and make a step ahead of everybody this year, but I think we've gone a little bit too far on the motor. We've got more power than the vehicle needs, because, you know, the motor is putting out 1,800 horsepower. You take 1,800 horsepower, you can push a 2,000-pound machine without braking. This machine weighs between 13,000 and 14,000 pounds. With 1,800 horsepower and automatic transmission, it's hard to get it to work. So that's our biggest hang-up right now.
I think you're going to be able to solve these problems. It seems like you have a handle on it. You know you're having problems. You're working. You and your crew have been working feverishly all over the country. Each week you seem to be getting a little bit closer. How close are you to that first win?
Well, at this time right now, I really don't know. We've tried something different tonight. We've got a low-gear planetary and an automatic, and if the automatic is going to hold, it'll hold tonight. And then the next step is just to see how the truck is going to handle with all this power, and which I might have to end up, you know, toning the motor down some. I might have to change motors, because the motor is really super responsive. It's kind of hard to drive. I know everything's new. I got to get used to it, so we're going to give it one more chance.
Well, that one more chance is coming up next. Dennis Anderson, Gravedigger, taking on Dave Wysurek and Nightlife. And while we've got this chance, Army, a couple of guys you saw in that videotape are crew members of Dennis's. And we don't talk about them a lot, but they do a super job. Dale Benson and Keith Leary.
Well, I tell you, they have been thrashing all year long getting that truck dialed in. It's going to come around. It's just a question of when. You know, at this point in time in the sport, everybody comes in the building to watch the Gravedigger. All the other drivers, they're in here watching. They know this might be the time. Look at the run. Oh, what a landing. Oh, he really hit hard, Richard.
I am glad I wasn't a passenger on that side. The door comes flying out, but Dennis Anderson, the big news, gets his second win of 1989, and he did it in a high-flying fashion kind of way.
He really aired out the front end, looks super strong, landed awfully hard on the front end. However, Anderson sitting in there with a grin from ear to ear. He hadn't broken yet.
And let's give a big giant salute to Dave Wysurek and Nightlife with his head out the window, which is the way he always drives. He comes close, but doesn't get the win. We're going to be back to start the semi-final action in Tallahassee with Powertrax in a moment.